If people do not perceive your words, they will not follow your voice. That truth changes everything in communication. Most people speak to be heard. Leaders speak to be remembered. The difference is not in volume. It is in precision, clarity, strength, and timing. If your voice is not respected, your ideas will not matter. If your words have no weight, your presence will not guide anyone. This audiobook is your guide to building a voice that inspires respect without the need to shout, a voice that creates action without the need to impress, a voice that reaches people's minds and moves them to make decisions. You do not need grand words. You need strong words. You do not need to speak more. You need to speak better. In this chapter-by-chapter breakdown, you will learn to communicate like someone worth listening to. Real, practical, and direct skills that you can apply immediately in everyday conversations, high-pressure moments, and leadership roles. This is for those who want to lead, not someday, but now. If your words do not lead, nothing else will. Start here. If you are serious about personal growth and improving your communication skills, subscribe so you do not miss our upcoming audiobooks. Let's begin. If you truly want to change your life, subscribe to this channel, Audiobook USA. Here you'll find complete audiobooks, impactful and practical content you can apply in real life, and a completely free PDF with practical steps. It's not just about listening. Now, it's about learning, applying, and moving forward all in one place. Chapter 1. Take ownership of every word you say with full confidence. That is where leadership begins. If you speak and your words have no weight, you are only making noise. And noise does not move people. Noise does not change minds. Noise does not create trust. But when you speak with confidence, when you speak as if every word matters, people notice, they listen, they lean in, and most importantly, they remember. Confidence does not mean being loud. It does not mean showing off. It means you stand behind your words. It means you believe what you say. And if you do not believe what you say, why should anyone else believe it? Confidence begins when you stop doubting yourself and start taking full responsibility for every word you say. Most people speak halfway. They are unsure. They throw out phrases like "I think," "maybe," "I suppose," or "I'm not sure," but every time they do, they weaken their message. They lose people because the truth is, no one follows someone who seems unsure. No one believes a message that sounds unstable. And no one is inspired by someone who does not believe in their own voice. If you want to speak like a leader, you must decide that your words matter. You must feel what you say what you feel, and fully own it. When you speak, people need to feel that you mean it. They need to feel that you're grounded, that what you say is not just words, it is who you are, it is what you stand for. So how do you do that? Start by paying attention to the words you use every day. Most people speak out of habit. They speak just to speak. But a leader speaks with intention. You do not waste your words. You do not ramble. You do not soften everything. You speak directly. You speak with dignity. And you speak with a presence that says, "I have earned the right to be heard." Now, confidence in your words also comes from preparation. If you do not know what you're talking about, your voice will shake, your message will fall apart. That is why leaders prepare. They think, they reflect, they get clear. So when it is time to speak, they are not improvising. They have already done the work. They have already thought about what matters. And that is why their words carry power, because they have already been tested in their own life. Confidence also grows when your words and your actions match. If you say one thing and do another, people will notice. And over time, you will start to doubt yourself as well. You cannot speak like a leader if you do not live like one, because people listen more to your example than to your explanations. They listen more to how you live than to what you say. When your behavior supports your words, you do not have to try so hard to sound confident. You become confident because you earned it. And one more thing, stop apologizing for your truth. Stop minimizing your message to make others comfortable. Leaders do not speak to be liked. They speak to be clear. They speak to lead. If you're always worried about what people think, you will never say anything worth hearing. You do not have to be rude. You do not have to be aggressive. But you do have to be firm. You have to be authentic. And that means you own your truth, even if not everyone agrees with it. When you walk into a room and you speak, the room should feel it. Not because you are loud, but because you are solid. You are steady. And people can feel that you are not guessing your way through life. You have made decisions. You have built beliefs. You have tested ideas. And now you speak from experience, not just opinion. That is what gives weight to your words. It also means you stop using soft language to protect your ego. Remove filler words. Remove uncertainty. If you believe something, say it. If you stand for something, say it. If something is not right, say it. Too many people weaken their voice trying to sound nice. But leadership is not about sounding nice. It is about saying what matters, even when it is uncomfortable. Confidence in your words also comes from being comfortable with silence. Weak speakers rush to fill every pause. They fear silence. But strong communicators know that silence can be powerful. You say something important and then you pause. You give people time to hear it, to feel it, to let it sink in. You do not rush. You do not beg for approval. You say what needs to be said and then you wait. And that silence speaks just as loudly as your words. Now, this is something you must always remember. Your voice is your tool, not your crutch. You do not speak to prove your worth. You do not speak to sound smart. You speak to serve a purpose. You speak to guide people towards something better. And when you know that, your voice changes. Your tone changes. You stop performing. You start leading. Because now you're not speaking to impress. You're speaking to impact. Speaking like a leader is not about using big words. It is not about perfect grammar. It is not about showing off your vocabulary. It is about being clear. It is about being confident. It is about being real. People follow that. People respond to that. Because in a world full of noise, real voices stand out. So if you want to speak like a leader, the first thing you must do is this. Own every word you say. Stop outsourcing your voice. Stop doubting your message. Speak from your chest. Speak from deep within. Speak like you feel it. And every time you do, your confidence grows. Your presence grows. Your leadership grows. Because once you own your words, you start owning your space. You show up differently. You carry yourself with a kind of quiet power. People can see it on your face. They can hear it in your tone. They can feel it in your presence. You're no longer trying to sound like a leader. You are one, and that changes everything. Chapter 2. Speak with clarity so no one misinterprets your message. This is one of the most important habits you can develop if you want to lead people, influence them, or even be taken seriously in your daily life. Speaking with clarity is not about being sophisticated. It is not about using complex words. It is not about sounding impressive. It is about being understood. And when people understand you, they trust you. When they trust you, they listen. When they listen, things start to happen. But if people cannot understand what you're saying, then it does not matter how good your ideas are. It does not matter how intelligent you are. It does not matter how well-intentioned you are. If your words do not make sense, you lose the moment. You lose the connection. You lose respect. And worst of all, people start filling in the gaps. They start guessing what you meant. And guess what? People rarely guess in your favor. That is why clarity is everything. If people do not hear you clearly, they will misunderstand you. And once your message is lost, your influence is lost with it. Speaking like a leader means taking full responsibility for making your message clear. You do not give people information and hope they understand it. You think before you speak. You slow down. You remove anything unnecessary. You stop trying to sound smart, and you focus on being understood. That is how strong communication begins. Most people never learn this. They speak fast. They ramble. They assume others know what they mean. They skip steps in their explanations and leave confusion everywhere they go. Then they wonder why people do not follow them, why they do not trust them, why their team is disorganized. The answer is simple. Unclear words create confused minds. If people are confused after you speak, it is not their fault. It is yours. So what does speaking with clarity really look like? It starts with knowing what you want to say before you say it. If your thoughts are scattered, your words will be scattered. You have to think through your ideas. Be specific. Do not speak vaguely. Say exactly what you mean. If you're asking someone to do something, say it in one clear line. Do not overcomplicate it. Do not try to sound impressive. Just be real and direct. Clarity also means removing all extra words that dilute your point. If you can say in 5 words, do not use 15. If your message gets lost in too many words, people disconnect. They stop listening. They feel overwhelmed. And once people stop listening, you lose their attention. Leaders do not waste attention. They get to the point and they stay focused. Speaking with clarity means using words people actually understand. Do not try to sound smart by using technical language. Speak their language. Meet them where they are. If you're giving instructions to your team, explain them in a way that makes sense to them. If you're teaching someone something new, break it down simply. Not because they're not intelligent, but because your job is to connect, not to confuse. One of the best things you can do to speak with clarity is to speak more slowly. When you speak too fast, your words lose strength. Your sentences run together. People miss key parts. Speaking with space shows control. It shows consideration, and it gives people time to process what you are saying. Speaking fast often comes from insecurity. People think they need to rush their ideas to sound sharp. But leaders do not rush. They pause. They let their words settle. That pause makes people lean in. That pause gives weight to your message. You also need to be aware of your tone. Your tone communicates meaning that words alone cannot. You can say the right words with the wrong tone, and people will take it the wrong way. Or you can say something simple with a strong tone, and it will land. Tone is your attitude made audible. If your tone is unclear, too flat, too angry, or too insecure, your message loses clarity. People will not know what to take seriously and what to ignore. That is why you must train your tone to match your message. If you're serious, sound serious. If you're excited, sound excited. Do not send mixed signals. Another reason people fail to speak clearly is that they try to say everything at once. You do not need to tell the whole story in one go. You do not need to explain every detail immediately. Choose your main idea and build around it. Stick to one idea at a time. Make it easy for people to follow. Give them time to absorb what you're saying. Simplicity is not weakness. It is strength. If you can explain a big idea in few words, that is leadership. Sometimes speaking with clarity means repeating your main idea once. Minimal repetition. Not 5 times. Just once. Not because you are unsure, but because people need time to grasp what matters. You say it clearly. You pause. You repeat it with confidence. Then you move forward. Not in circles. Not in loops. Straight ahead. You also need to pay attention to how people react when you speak. Watch their eyes. Watch their faces. Are they confused? Are they distracted? Are they focused? Your words should pull people in. If they pull away, adjust. Real leaders pay attention to real-time feedback. They clarify when needed. They ask, does this make sense? Not as filler, but as a genuine check. And if the answer is no, they stand their ground and explain it better. And here's something most people overlook. Your message is not just your words. It is your body language. It is your posture. It is your face. It is your hands. It is your presence. If your words say one thing and your body says another, people will believe the body. That means standing upright. That means making eye contact. That means showing that you are present, not distracted. All of this increases clarity. Speaking with clarity is also built through practice. You do not wait for big moments to develop this skill. You practice it daily. You practice it in regular conversations. You work on getting to the point. You work on choosing better words. You work on asking better questions. You improve how you explain your ideas. That is how leaders sharpen their message, not just through big speeches, but through everyday conversations done well. Clarity is earned. It is a skill. It is a decision. Every time you open your mouth, you have the chance to build trust or break it. You have the chance to guide people or confuse them. And you have the responsibility to speak in a way that makes your message easy to understand. So stop hiding behind complicated language. Stop expecting people to understand what you meant. Stop rushing your words and hoping they make sense. Make a new decision today. When you speak, you will speak with clarity. You will speak with purpose. You will speak so no one walks away confused about who you are and what you stand for. Speak like your words matter, because they do. Speak like someone who knows where they are going. Speak like someone who has done the work and earned the right to be heard. That is how a leader speaks. That is how a leader connects. That is how a leader builds something real. And that is the kind of person people choose to follow, someone who makes their message clear every time. Chapter 3. Control your voice before you try to lead. This is not a suggestion. It is a requirement, because your voice is more than sound. It is your presence. It is your attitude. It is your energy. And if your voice is not steady, your leadership will never be trusted. You can have the best intentions, a sharp mind, strong values. But if your voice shakes, if it hesitates, if it sounds insecure or scattered, people will hesitate to follow you. Why? Because people do not just listen to what you say. They listen to how you say it. Leadership begins with your behavior, and your voice is a direct reflection of your inner world. If you're nervous, people hear it. If you're angry, people hear it. If you are unsure, people hear it. You cannot hide it. And the more emotional noise you carry inside, the harder it becomes to speak with strength and direction. That is why before you step into a leadership role, before you try to influence anyone, you must learn to control your tone, your volume, your pace, and your emotional state. A leader does not command attention by shouting or interrupting others. A leader commands attention with a calm, grounded, steady voice that says, "I am not here to impress you. I am here to guide you." That is the difference. People who shout want to be noticed. Grounded leaders want to be understood. There is a big difference between the two. When you control your voice, people feel safe around you. They feel that you will not explode. You will not panic. You will not be ruled by emotions. You are steady, and that steadiness creates trust. You cannot lead if your voice shakes every time you speak. You cannot lead if your tone changes with your mood. People get tired of following voices they cannot predict. That unpredictability creates anxiety. And leadership is not about creating anxiety. It is about giving people direction they can trust. So how do you control your voice? Start by becoming aware of it. Most people have no idea how they sound. They have never listened to their tone. They have never recorded themselves. They do not know if they speak too fast, too softly, too harshly, or too flat. That is the first step. Self-awareness. Take time to really listen to yourself. Are you clear? Are you steady? Do you sound like someone who believes what they are saying? Or do you sound like someone who is hoping to be accepted? The more you understand how you sound, the more control you gain. Start choosing your tone instead of letting your emotions choose it for you. If you are frustrated, do not raise your voice. Stay calm and address the issue directly. If you're excited, do not rush and lose people. Keep the energy, but stay grounded. Leadership demands emotional control, and your voice is where people see it first. Another way to gain control is through breathing. Most people underestimate the importance of breathing when speaking. Shallow breathing leads to fast speech, nervous energy, and a shaky delivery. But when you breathe more slowly, your voice naturally becomes stronger and deeper. You do not have to force it. It settles. It becomes deliberate, and people sense that control. Before every important conversation, every meeting, every decision, you center yourself. You breathe. You slow down internally, and then you speak. Control also means knowing when not to speak. A powerful voice is not just about what you say. It is about what you hold back. If you speak on impulse, you will say things you regret. You will create damage that takes a long time to repair. But if you train yourself to pause, to think, to listen, you will say fewer words, but they will carry more weight. And that is leadership communication. Fewer words, more meaning. Think about the leaders you respect most. They did not rush their words. They did not hesitate. They did not ramble. They spoke with purpose. Every sentence had a job. Every word had meaning. They were not trying to sound important. They were grounded. That is what gave their voice authority. And that kind of authority does not come from titles. It does not come from volume. It comes from inner strength. It comes from discipline. And that discipline must be built. You practice your voice like any other skill. You train it. You rehearse. Not to fake it, but to refine it. If you speak in public, practice beforehand. Listen to yourself. Adjust. If you lead a team, do not speak unprepared. Prepare your tone. Prepare your delivery. Prepare your pace. Strong leaders do not leave communication to chance. They take it seriously because they know every word, every tone, every pause can build or destroy what they are trying to lead. Also understand this. Your voice matters not only in big moments. It matters in casual conversations, in one-on-one talks, in feedback, in conflict. Every time you speak, people are watching. They are asking, can I trust this person? Do they mean what they say? Are they in control or unstable? And that trust is built or broken by how well you manage your tone, your message, and your energy. And energy matters. If your voice has no energy, people will not feel your words. You cannot motivate people with a flat tone. You cannot inspire with a monotone delivery. You do not need to be loud, but you do need to be alive. Your voice must carry conviction. It must show that you care. You must be fully present in your words. Otherwise, no matter how good your ideas are, they will fail. Leadership also means managing your emotional triggers. When things go wrong, when people push your buttons, when situations become intense, you must be able to stay steady without your voice cracking or rising. If your voice changes every time you're under pressure, people lose confidence in your stability. They may respect your knowledge, but they will hesitate to follow you when it counts. Control means staying calm even when things fall apart. That calm is what people remember. It is also what helps others stay steady. When your voice is trained, your leadership sharpens. You speak with focus. You lead with presence. You guide with strength. And people feel it. They know they are in the presence of someone who does not just speak to be heard. They speak because they have something worth listening to. So take your voice seriously, not for your performance, but for your influence. Train it daily. Reflect on it. Record yourself. Ask for honest feedback. Adjust your tone until it reflects strength and clarity. Practice speaking under pressure. Practice staying firm without shouting. Build the kind of voice that calms people, moves people, and earns respect without demanding it. Because before anyone follows you, they will first listen to you. And before listening, they will judge your voice. Not your accent or your vocabulary, but the presence, energy, and control behind it. When your voice reflects discipline, purpose, and firmness, people feel secure. They feel safe and begin to trust your leadership, not because you told them to, but because your voice demonstrates it. This is how leadership is shown. This is where it begins. Before asking others to follow, make sure your voice is ready to guide. Not sometimes, not when it suits you, but always in every room, in every moment. Because once your voice remains firm, your leadership begins to come alive. Chapter 4. Say things that truly move people to act. That is what leadership communication is really about. It's not just about speaking, not just about sounding smart. It's about speaking in a way that generates movement. A leader's words do not merely fill time. They change minds, awaken people, make someone stop what they are doing and think differently. They make someone take a step they have been avoiding. When you speak as a leader, your words must have power, not emotional exaggeration, but practical drive. Your words must lead to action. Otherwise, you are just another voice in the background. People hear a lot every day. They are flooded with opinions, distractions, instructions, advice, yet most of it does not move them. It comes and goes. What they remember is what made them feel something strong enough to push them out of comfort and into motion. And that is your job, to say things that awaken people without shouting. Speak in a way that reaches not just their ears, but their core. That kind of speech is not achieved by memorizing lines. It comes from knowing why you say what you say. It comes from clarity, intention, experience. Before attempting to influence others, check your motive. Are you trying to impress or to impact? Are you just repeating what you have heard? Or are you speaking from a place proven in real life? People can tell when your words are mere information versus when they are real. Real words have pressure, they have weight, they do not float, they land. And when they land, people move. If you want to move people, speak directly to their pain. Speak to the part of them that is tired of excuses. Speak to the frustration they carry, but never say it out loud. Speak to the decision they have been delaying. You don't need to say it perfectly, you just need to say it sincerely. The truth hits, the truth hurts, but it also awakens. People are surrounded by soft talk. Everyone tells them to take it easy, to wait for the right moment to avoid discomfort. That is not what they need from a leader. They need someone to say, "You have waited long enough. You have been hiding. You have been settling." Not with judgment, but with clarity. When someone says what needs to be said, people awaken, and people are not moved with too much explanation. Say it once, say it clearly, say it strongly, and let it rest. If you extend your point with 5 examples, you lose the spark. The message gets lost. Say it concise, and direct. And once said, do not dilute it. People need clarity, not comfort. They need something to hold on to, not something to overthink. If you want them to act, give something clear and firm. People do not act on vague ideas. They act with solid direction. Another key is urgency. People do not act without urgency. Your words must convey the sense that something must be done now, not in 6 months, not when life feels better. Now, not with panic, but with pressure. You need to show them what is at stake. If they do not act, what happens? If they stay the same, what do they lose? If they keep waiting, what will it cost them? This is how action is triggered, not through fear, but through truth. The truth that staying where you are is often the most dangerous decision. And speak in a language they understand. Use words they use. If your message sounds too polished, people tune out. They think it's not for them. But if it sounds like it comes from someone who has walked where they walk, who has struggled for what they struggle for, they will listen. You do not need perfect grammar or clever sentences. You need to sound real. You need to sound like someone who means what they say and says what they mean. It is not just what you say, it is how much you mean it. If you do not believe in your own message, no one else will. Your tone conveys your belief. If you give advice you do not live, people will feel it. If you tell people to be disciplined while living undisciplined, your words lose power. But if your words come from your personal standard, they hit hard. That is why your life must match your message. When it does, your words gain strength and volume. People are not looking for motivation. They're looking for permission to change. They want to know it is okay to leave what is familiar. They want to hear they can demand more of themselves. And your words can unlock that. Your words can flip the switch, but only if they are direct, real, and action-oriented. Do not avoid the issue. Do not sugarcoat it. Tell them what they need to hear, then encourage them to do something about it. Sometimes what moves people is not inspiration, but confrontation. You say something they have been avoiding. You hold up a mirror, you call out, not with anger, but with honesty. That moment of discomfort becomes the turning point. Many people wait for someone to call them to a higher level. Not shouting, not with guilt, but saying, "You are capable of more, and it is time to act." That line, if delivered well, can change someone's life. And do not fall into the trap of trying to say what is popular. Say what is needed. Leaders do not seek applause. They seek progress. The room may not applaud. That is fine. They will think about it, consider it. And if it is real, they will move. You are not trying to entertain. You're trying to build something. So speak like someone who takes responsibility for the impact of their words. And never forget that silence can be just as powerful. If your words are strong, you do not need to say much. One sentence followed by silence can do more than a 5-minute lecture. It gives the message room to breathe. It gives people space to respond internally. If your words are full of truth, do not rush to keep talking. Let it land, let it resonate. You also move people by simplifying things. Complexity creates hesitation, but when you break something into the next clear step, people feel ready. Say it like this: start today. Make the call. Write it down. Fix it now. Do not leave them in doubt. Move them from thought to decision, from idea to action, from good intentions to real change. And remember, you do not need to say more. You need to say it best. Do not overload your message. Do not soften its edges. Speak about the real problem. Say the words people fear to say. Point out the habits that keep them stuck. Say what others do not say. That is how a leader speaks. That is how a leader moves people. Because when your words convey truth, urgency, and direction, when your voice is calm, controlled, and confident, when your message focuses on what matters most, then people stop scrolling, stop waiting, and start moving. Stop living delayed and start living with purpose. Speak in a way that matters. Speak to the part of people that is hungry for more. Speak with enough pressure to wake them and enough clarity to show them where to go next. That is how you lead. That is how you grab attention. That is how you move people, not with noise, but with powerful words. And those words must come from an inner place that has already been moved. Because what moves you is what will move others. Speak from that place. Speak from your standards. Speak from your scars. Speak from what you have learned the hard way. That is what makes your voice different. That is what makes your message matter. That is what drives people to act. Chapter 5. Use strong words that command respect and attention. That is a skill most people never take seriously, but every leader must master. People do not follow weak, insecure, or fluffy voices. They follow voices that speak with substance. And strong words do not mean harsh words. They mean words that have meaning, words that carry weight, and words that show you have earned the right to be heard. Every time you speak, you're building credibility or losing it. You're gaining attention or being ignored. It all comes down to your choice of words. Weak words are forgettable. Strong words are remembered. To speak like a leader, you must understand the impact of your words. Not just the meaning, but the tone, the presence, the power behind them. Strong words demand attention, not because they are loud, but because they are precise. When you speak with clear and strong language, people stop and listen. They feel that you are serious. They feel your confidence. You do not need to repeat yourself. You do not need to over-explain. One sentence said with strength and clarity can change the course of a conversation. In some cases, a life. Weak language generates doubt. When you use phrases like "I think," "maybe," "I suppose," or you dilute your message, weaken it, and people stop listening. Strong words are clean, direct, leave no room for confusion. Show that you have made a decision. You are not offering a suggestion. You are making a statement. And when people hear that kind of certainty, they're more likely to respect your voice. Always trying to be gentle, to avoid offense, to please everyone, will end up saying nothing of importance. People respect clarity. They follow those who tell the truth, even if it is uncomfortable, especially when it is uncomfortable. Strong words are not about being aggressive. They're about being unwavering. You do not raise your voice. You raise your standard. That is what makes people pay attention. Your choice of words reflects your standards. If you have settled for average thinking, your words will sound average. But if you have demanded more of yourself, your words will reflect it. Strong words come from a strong mindset. When your thinking is clear, your language becomes powerful. If you speak with strength, it is because you have developed inner strength. You have handled pressure, faced challenges, earned your voice. People do not just want information. They want to hear beliefs, to feel conviction. If your words are full of doubt, you lose them. But when you speak from your core, when you say things you have lived, people connect because they can feel the difference between speaking and truth. Speaking is easy. Truth requires discipline. And when your words are based on truth, people cannot ignore you. Using strong words also means cutting out all filler. Remove phrases that say nothing. More or less, these weaken your impact. They create noise. And leadership is not about noise. It is about precision. One clear, unhesitant sentence is more powerful than a 10-minute speech full of filler. Say less, but say it better. To earn respect when speaking, you must respect your own words. That means you do not speak just to speak. You do not speak when you have not thought. Every sentence has a purpose. Every word has intention. That is how people begin to respect you, not just for what you say, but for the care with which you say it. Attention is earned. It is not automatic, and it is not about being flashy. It is about being solid. Your words must be like anchors. When you say something, it stays. People carry it with them. They think about it later because it was not just a sound, it was a statement. If your words fade as soon as they are heard, you are not leading, you are blending in. The language of leadership is bold, not reckless. It is confident, not arrogant, and always clear. Clarity is power. If someone asks, "What did you mean by that?" you have already lost. People follow voices that are easy to understand but hard to ignore. That is the balance, simplicity and strength combined. No beating around the bush, no ego, just truth expressed directly. There is one more thing you need to know. Strong words are earned. You cannot fake them. If your life does not match your message, your words will feel empty. That is why personal discipline matters. That is why living with standards matters, because your voice gains strength through your example. When you live what you say, you do not have to convince people. They feel it, they hear it. It is different. You command attention when your words add value. Every time you speak, ask yourself, does this help someone think better, act better, live better? If the answer is no, do not say it. Reserve your energy for what matters. Leaders do not speak to fill time. They speak to change something. And when your words add value consistently, people make room for you. They stop scrolling, they stop moving, they listen. Strong words are also honest, not cruel, but honest. You say what needs to be said. You do not hide behind comfort. You do not sugarcoat it. You speak the truth clearly and directly. Most people avoid this. They talk in circles, soften everything. But when you speak like a leader, you speak with courage. You say, "This is not working." You say, "This has to change." You say, "This is what must happen." That kind of clarity generates respect. Not everyone will like it, but they will remember it. And when people remember your words, you become an influential voice. Not because you forced it, but because you earned it. You spoke with focus, courage, and precision. That is what distinguishes leaders. They do not speak more, they speak with more strength. And that strength does not come from shouting. It comes from self-control, reflection, and responsibility. Every room you enter is full of voices. Most of them blend together, but when someone speaks with weight, with depth, with clarity, everyone turns. That is your goal. Not to be the one who talks the most, but to be the one who stops people because what you say carries something real. That is leadership, and leadership begins with how you speak to yourself. If your inner voice is weak, your outer voice will be too. Speak with strength inside. First, stop doubting yourself. Stop playing small. Train your mind to think strongly, and your words will follow. Say, "I can do this. I will do better. I refuse to be mediocre." When you speak to yourself with strength, you begin to speak to the world in the same way. So choose your words carefully. Speak with conviction. Speak with strength. Eliminate soft language that wastes people's time. Speak to be clear, not to please. Speak to create impact, not just to fill silence. Speak from experience, not theory. When your words are strong, people feel it. They listen longer, trust more, and remember. This is how respect is built. This is how attention is earned. Not with noise, but with strong, clear, real words that speak directly to what matters. You do not need a crowd. You do not need approval. You need discipline, conviction, and the courage to speak with the conviction of every word. That is what leadership sounds like, and that is what people will follow. Not just words, but words that guide. Chapter 6. Stop speaking weakly and speak with true strength. This is the moment when everything changes, not just your communication, but your life, because the way you speak reveals how you think, and how your thinking shapes everything. Weak language is more than soft words. It is the habit of speaking from hesitation, fear, insecurity. And the longer you speak that way, the more it shapes who you are. It becomes part of your identity. But when you decide to stop using that type of language and choose to speak with true strength, not only do you sound different, you become different. You become sharper, more confident, more respected. People know when your voice has strength. They feel it, not because you raise the volume, but because your words have power. There is a silent authority in your tone, intention in your delivery, power in your message. And that only happens when you stop diluting your speech with phrases that drain your credibility. You hear weak language every day. "I'm not sure, but I hope it works." It may sound silly, but these phrases sneak into conversation, and every time they do, they send a message. "I don't really believe what I'm saying." You may not mean to say that, but it is exactly what people hear. Weak language weakens your message even before it lands. It shows doubt, creates distance, softens your tone, and if you're trying to lead, influence, earn trust, those words will cost you everything. The true strength of your voice begins by eliminating the words that waste your power. You do not need to explain yourself to everyone. You do not need to soften your opinion to avoid discomfort. You do not need to appear insignificant to be liked. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be clear, strong, solid. And that begins by leaving aside any phrase that allows people to ignore you. You do not need to say, "I just think." You think it. Say it. Do not start with "I'm sorry," but do not regret being right. And you do not need to ask permission with every sentence. When you speak with strength, your words stand on their own. You're not forcing them. You're not begging for attention. You're simply saying something real without apology, hesitation, or confusion. Strength does not mean aggression. You do not need to be harsh to be powerful. You do not need to dominate the room. True strength is calm, controlled, and consistent. You speak from a place of certainty because you know who you are and you know what you are saying matters. You have thought it through. You have earned it. You are not acting. You are delivering something of value. When you speak with strength, people respect you differently. They interrupt less. They question you less. They listen longer because strong words hold attention, and attention is currency. It is not given, it is earned. Weak language loses attention. Strong language earns it. And once you have someone's full attention, that is when you create impact. If you want to lead, you must decide what kind of voice you will use. Not the sound, not the tone, not the structure, not the meaning. Will it be full of disclaimers, softeners, filler, or will it be sharp, intentional, and precise? The truth is, no one will fix this for you. If you grew up surrounded by weak language, if you have worked in environments full of people who avoid saying things directly, you may have picked up those habits, but habits can be unlearned, and this is a habit worth changing. Strong speech begins with inner conviction. If you do not believe what you say, no one else will. So build your beliefs. Reflect deeply. Question your own ideas. Once you have done the internal work, you will no longer need to defend yourself so much externally. You will not need to sound strong, you just need to sound clear. And clarity is a powerful form of strength. People who use weak language often feel invisible, feel ignored, but it is not always the world ignoring them. It is how they present their voice. You train people to treat your message a certain way. If you treat it as insecure, optional, vague, they will too. But when you speak with clarity and strength, people pause, think, take notice, and your presence grows. There is also a time factor. Weak language wastes time. You ramble, you circle, you add 3 extra sentences when one would suffice. Strong speech is efficient. It gets to the point. It respects people's time. That is another way strength is shown in how little you need to say to convey your message. When you stop trying to impress and focus only on truth, your voice becomes cleaner, and cleaner voices move faster through the noise. You will also feel different when you stop using weak language. There's a change in your posture, in your energy, and how you enter a room, because you're no longer doubting yourself as you speak. You are not editing every sentence in real time. You are not preparing for judgment. You are offering something solid, and you know it. That gives you freedom, and that freedom turns into confidence. Weak language comes from fear. Fear of being wrong, fear of being judged, fear of not being liked. But this is the truth. If you try to speak in a way that never offends, never challenges, never demands, your words will never be taken seriously. And if your words are not taken seriously, you will never lead. So you have to decide, do you want to be liked or do you want to be effective? You cannot do both. Not always. Leadership is not about comfort. It is about clarity. It is about moving forward, and that requires strength in how you communicate. It means setting aside appearances and saying what needs to be said. You do not do it lightly. You do it with discipline, focus, purpose. You do not use strength to tear others down. You use it to lift them. But lifting does not mean being kind about everything. Sometimes strength sounds like challenge, sometimes like correction, sometimes like something is unacceptable, and sometimes it is simply silence. Standing firm when others want you to give up. All of that is communication, and all of it comes from leaving behind weak habits that dilute your presence. Do not wait for the perfect moment to start speaking with more strength. Practice in your daily conversations. Remove one soft phrase at a time. Replace "I hope" with "I will." Replace I suppose with I have decided. Replace it could be with this is what I see. These small changes add up. They reconfigure your voice, and soon your entire presence changes. People notice. You notice, and you begin to operate at a higher level. You do not need to shout. You do not need to argue. You do not need to win every conversation. You just need to present yourself with strong words that show you have thought carefully about what you say, that show you are not afraid of resistance. And when people hear that, they stop testing you, they begin to respect you. That is how strength speaks. Calm, clear, controlled, firm. You do not speak seeking approval. You speak because you have something real to say. And the more you speak like that, the more you root your leadership. Not because you speak more, but because when you speak, people know it matters. So stop speaking weakly, reduce the noise, reduce the chatter, speak with precision, speak from your values, speak with firmness, and do it consistently until it becomes who you are. That is leadership, and it begins with your voice. That is what separates true leaders from those who crumble under pressure. Anyone can speak with strength when no one opposes them. Anyone can sound confident when everything is calm. But the real test is when your beliefs, your words, your decisions are questioned. When someone challenges your voice, your message, your stance. That is when your presence is tested. That is when you discover what your voice is truly made of. The world does not give you silence. It gives you resistance, and your ability to lead depends on how well you stand firm. When that resistance appears, most people crumble as soon as they feel discomfort. As soon as someone disagrees, they retreat, start softening their words, over-explaining, seeking approval, and in doing so, they lose the strength of their voice. Leadership is not about getting people to agree with you. It is about standing firm in your truth, even when they do not. You do not speak to be popular. You speak because what you have to say matters. And if it matters, you do not let pressure change it. People will test you. That is guaranteed. They will question your tone, challenge your decisions, distort your message. And you have a choice. Stand firm in your clarity or be swept away by their doubt. If you flinch every time someone questions you, you will not last long in leadership. You will end up becoming what people want you to be. But that is not leadership. It is insecurity in disguise. To stand firm, you must know what you represent. If you have not thought it through, pressure will expose you. Clarity gives you stability. If you have work to define your values, your message, your direction, then when pressure comes, do not panic, do not rush, do not change your language to fit the crowd. You stay anchored in what you have built within. You cannot borrow strength in those moments. You cannot copy someone else's confidence. It has to be yours, built through repetition, built through experience, built through speaking when it is hard. That kind of strength does not appear automatically. You train it, you develop it. Every time you remain calm when someone attacks you, you reinforce that inner strength. Every time you stand firm in what you believe, you become stronger, not just stronger. That is the key. Leaders do not shout to prove they are solid. They speak with serene confidence. That tone cuts through noise better than any argument. People respect what does not waver. If you change your tone every time the room shifts, people stop trusting you. They may smile at you. They may agree with you to your face, but inside they know they cannot rely on you. Respect is earned when your message remains firm under pressure. When you say the same thing when it is uncomfortable as when it was easy. When your face does not change just because someone is raising their voice. To lead well, you must accept discomfort. You must be willing to be the one in the room who does not fold when everyone else seeks an exit. That does not mean being stubborn. It means being firm. It means you have thought things through. It means you do not need everyone in the room to agree with you to speak with strength. There will be moments when your voice shakes a little. It is normal. You are human, but you speak anyway. You maintain your stance. You remain firm in your truth. You do not flee from tension. You face it head on. You show others that disagreement does not scare you. Challenge does not destabilize you. Someone else's doubt will not make you question yourself. That is how leadership becomes visible. Not when you say something inspiring, but when you stay strong when someone tries to throw you off balance. And those who try to shake you are not always loud. Sometimes they are subtle. A raised eyebrow, a mocking smile, a contemptuous look, a sharp question designed to trip you up. You do not respond with emotion. You do not overreact. You maintain calm. You maintain tone. Stay respectful, but do not move. You do not need to attack to protect your position. Simply remain firm, because when your voice is based on truth and discipline, it does not need defense. It stands on its own. You will feel it when someone tries to shake your ground. The energy shifts, the room tenses. That is the moment most people start to shrink, but that is your opportunity to rise. Not with louder words, but with firmer energy. People notice when someone speaks and does not flinch. When someone stands firm without becoming defensive, when someone keeps their message clear even under great pressure. That is the kind of communication people follow, not because it is perfect, but because it is solid. True strength in communication is not found in what you say when people agree with you. It is found in how you speak when they do not. When you stand firm, you teach others something. They learn that you are not easily intimidated. They learn that your words are not based on trends, emotions, or reactions. They learn that when you speak, there is weight behind it, and people follow that kind of presence. Not publicity or popularity, but presence. Something real that does not move every time the room does. You do not need to explain yourself to everyone. Some people want to argue, not understand. Some want to provoke, not discuss. That is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to remain grounded in what matters. You do not seek approval. You do not beg for support. You deliver your message with strength and let the chips fall where they may. There is a kind of silent power in standing firm. You do not need to say much. You do not need to justify everything. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stay calm and not change a single word. That silence says more than 100 explanations. That firmness communicates more than emotion ever could. And when you do this consistently, when you acquire the habit of staying strong through disagreement, you begin to become unshakable, not arrogant, not dismissive, simply grounded, present, and steady. That is what gives your leadership voice its edge. Not volume, but conviction. Not emotion, but clarity. Not control, but consistency. The world is full of noise. People trying to sound important, people talking at the same time, people reacting. What stands out is someone who speaks and remains steady. Someone who knows what they are doing. Someone who does not get unsettled every time someone disagrees. That person becomes a voice of trust, a voice of clarity, a voice people return to, not because they always say what others want to hear, but because they always say what is real. Thank you for listening on Audiobook USA.